I'd like to call to order the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, July 18, 2007. And would you join the commission with the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I'd like to ask Mr. Bob Coons to introduce the new staff member, and we'll go a little out of order, but Mr. Coons.
Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission, it's my pleasure to introduce the newest planner in our staff, Anna Lackender, and who started Monday with us, and she's from University of Iowa, Master's in Urban Planning, and through a selection process which Commissioner Bay participated in, and we selected Anna as Planner 1, and we're really pleased to have her. She's excited about the job, and we're excited about having her here. And so you'll be seeing more of her in the future, coming months as we start assigning her some projects.
Thank you. Welcome, Anna.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'd like to call roll and let the record show that all members are present, with the exception of Commissioner and Chairman Geltzer and Commissioner Williams, who are unable to be here this evening. Next item, minutes. Approval of minutes of the regular meeting of Planning and Zoning held on June 20th, 2007. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion.
I make a motion we approve the minutes of the Planning and Zoning Commission held on June 20th.
And Commissioner Miller moved the Planning and Zoning minutes, and Commissioner Loretano seconded that. I'd ask for a vote on that at this point. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Motion carried. 5-0. At this point, we have public comments. If you wish to comment to the commission, please fill out a card. And is there anyone who wishes to comment at this time before the commission? Hearing none, we will then move to the next item, disclosure of ex parte communications. Has any commission member had ex parte communications?
No.
None? None? Then we will move to the consent agenda, and the consent agenda has one item, case 067000001, 2007 Avenue and Pecos General Plan Amendment, and this has been recommended that it be heard at the September 19th, 2007 Commission meeting. Is there any commission member who wishes to have this item taken off the table? Hearing none, is there anyone in the public that would like to have speak on this particular item? Then I would recommend a motion on the case.
So moved.
Mr. Bay has moved that this be sent to the consent agenda September 19, 2007. Is there a second? Second. Mr. Laus seconded the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried, 5-0. Next item of business is a new business, case 0750000 010, Palm Valley Condominiums preliminary plat. And I would ask that I would open the public hearing on this and ask for the staff presentation. Mr. Birmingham.
Thank you, Chairman DeBroker, members of the Commission. The aerial photo vicinity map that you're looking at here is of the Palm Valley condominiums. Formerly, this development was called the Palm Valley Luxury Rentals Apartment Complex, and this received site plan approval in 1995 and was then constructed as a for-rent apartment community. It's a 60-acre site. There's a total of 18 buildings. There's 3 different building types on this site. There's 8, 12, and 16 unit buildings. And the development also has a clubhouse. It has 4 garage buildings and covered parking awnings on the site. There are two outdoor pools. There's a basketball court. There's a tot lot. It's all existing. As you can see, existing land uses to the north and east, the Palm Valley Golf Course. To the west is the Palm Valley Phase 2 Commerce Park. And to the south, Palm Valley Pavilions North Commercial Center. There are 2 existing driveways on Litchfield Road that go into this development. No modifications are being proposed to the circulation plan at this time. The property has been developed as apartment units and is undergoing a condominium conversion in an effort to sell each of the individual units. Going to the condominium preliminary plat exhibit. Our subdivision regulations in the city code set forth the process for subdividing condominiums. This requires the submittal of a condominium preliminary plat and also a condominium final plat. The condominium preliminary plat has been reviewed by staff and is in substantial conformance with Goodyear standards for this type of plat. The number of parking spaces on the site is adequate for this development, given the number of dwelling units, and the proposed plat is consistent with the Palm Valley Master Plan and with the Goodyear General Plan. In your staff report, you'll note that there are a few stipulations to aid future home buyers of the proximity to Luke Air Force Base. And this concludes the presentation by staff. Staff is available to answer any questions that you might have, and also Mr. Dennis Keogh with Keogh Engineering is available to answer any questions on behalf of the applicant.
Thank you. Are there commission members' questions for Mr. Birmingham?
I have a question for Mr. Keogh.
Okay.
Is he-
Before we get to him,
Okay.
let me just ask, are there any questions of the staff on this project? Okay. Mr. Keogh, would you state your name and address for the record?
My name is Dennis Keogh. Address is 14150 West McDowell, Goodyear, Arizona.
Thank you.
Good evening. My question is, I did not notice any citizen participation, any meetings. Are the residents aware of this change?
I believe the residents are aware because the owner is not renewing full leases to some of the units. So they're withholding long-term leases. And the owner tells me that any of the existing owners will have first right of refusal to buy a unit when they do become available.
Are they going to be done in phases, or is it just going to be flat?
I believe it's going to be done all at one time.
All at one time?
Yes.
Let me just ask, will the residents, is this going to be affordable to the residents?
I haven't done the calculations on that, but I believe the units are going to run from the low 100s to the low 200s. There's a one-bedroom, a two-bedroom. There are 2 one-bedroom units, 2 two-bedroom units, and a 3-bedroom unit. So they range from low 100s to low 200s. I'm not sure where the scale of rent versus a monthly mortgage payment would be. I understand condominiums are pretty close to rental payments, if not cheaper.
Okay, Mr. Lyles.
When is this project scheduled to begin and then be completed?
As soon as we have the right to record the final plat, then the conversion will begin, and then they can get their public report and put the units on for sale. So I'd say in 3 to 4 months, they will be up for sale. I do know they are working on their public report at this time.
Ms. Laurentano.
With regard to the units, this is a fairly new complex, so are you looking at interior or exterior renovations? Because I do know there's some amenities. Are you looking to change any of those there?
The units will be upgraded interior-wise, and they plan to recarpet, paint, upgrade the appliances, upgrade the hardware. There recently was a upgrade to the rec area, excuse me, building in the office area. They commonly restripe the parking. They're taking care of the parking lot. They're doing their own landscaping maintenance. I'm not sure where they are with the exterior of painting of the units, but I do know they plan to upgrade the interiors.
And in the exterior, it looks like there's a ball court and the pools, that's all scheduled to remain the same.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
No questions.
All right. Sir, thank you. Also, at this particular time, is there something you'd like to add, Mr. Keel?
Just from a technical point of view, I was the engineer for this project 11 years ago. It has adequate water, adequate sewer. It's properly sprinklered, has fire coverage. As Brett said, there is adequate parking. It has adequate open space, and I think the intent of the owner is to maintain it in an upscale appearance.
I see. Okay. Thank you.
Welcome.
At this particular time, is there anyone present today who would like to comment on this public hearing? Hearing none, I will close the public hearing and ask for commission discussion. No discussion. Okay.
Can I
And
just make a comment?
comment.
My concern are for the residents who will be displaced. We're always talking about an environment that crosses all the social strata. So when you have, and that's why I asked the price, which seems affordable at this time. So I don't have any other concern, but my concern really is that we have affordable housing for all of our citizens.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
No, I'll echo the reason I didn't say anything is because she had already asked all the questions. So I'm fine.
Okay. All right.
Mr. Chairman,
If there's no
question.
Mr. Kraus.
My recollection, there's several garages, single-car garages that residents can rent separately. And I was curious, and we put a stipulation 11 years ago that said they couldn't use those for storage. They had to use those for parking. The question would be is how are those 47 parking spaces going to be divvied up among the various owners that are buying? Is it first come, first served? And what stipulations are going to be provided that those garages won't become storage areas in the future? I guess that's the question.
Okay. Mr. Keogh, do you wish to address that question?
Yes.
Please come up.
Commonly with condominium conversions, in the CCNRs, the parking strategy is outlined on who can buy what. And I don't like to assign parking stalls with the plat because then they're set in stone forever. But with the CCNRs, we're going to number the parking stalls, and the owners can purchase a stall through the CCNRs. Also on this site, there are garages that are located that are separate from the units. Those garages are not tied to any separate unit, but they can be purchased with a unit if an owner would like to buy one. So, parking will not be random. Parking will be assigned, and it'll be handled through the CC&Rs. And if they ever want to renumber the parking stalls or change handicap positioning or anything like that, they can do it through amending the CC&Rs. So they will not be random. Okay. Materials in the garages are covered by the CC&Rs on what can be stored in the garages. And that'll be monitored through the sales process, and what can be stored is mentioned in the CC&Rs, so it'll be governed.
I guess I could ask that question. Do the CC&Rs say that there be no storage in the garage portion of the units?
I believe the CC&Rs say a vehicle has to be parked in there, and you can have some storage next to the vehicle, but it cannot be used totally for storage.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you.
The review process of the CCRs, does that go through the city or does that get recorded? How does that work?
It does get reviewed by the city, and it does get recorded, and it can be amended to stipulations that you may require.
And so would that, Harvey, excuse me, would that go to you at some point? Would you have the opportunity to review?
We could put a stipulation to have it looked at the final plat, or, yeah, they should come to the staff to look at, so we can review and make comment on those.
That's the CC&R or the actual?
The CC&Rs, we should have a copy of those to review.
Okay. So then we include that as a stipulation.
Is that stipulation, if that stipulation would be at number 4, is that agreeable to?
Yes, that is agreeable, and we have submitted a sample packet of the CC&Rs with the submittal of the preliminary and final plat.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. I guess at this particular juncture, we should, we've closed the public hearing. I'd entertain a motion if there's no further discussion. I'd entertain a motion regarding the case.
I move that we approve case number 075000010 with the additional stipulation number 4 concerning the CCR reviewed by Goodyear staff.
Okay, Ms. Loretano moved the approval of the recommendation.
Second?
Mr. Louts seconded. Here, no further discussion. All in favor of the motion with the amendment, number 4, regarding the CC&R's review, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Same sign. Motion carried 5-0. Thank you. Next item is case 07-200-0013, fire station number 185, a rezone. I will open the public hearing on this and request a staff presentation. Mr. Williams.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, Mr. Commissioner. On April 23rd, 2007, the Goodyear City Council approved a purchase agreement with Pebble Creek Properties for 1.1 acres located roughly. Let me focus there.
Sorry, just look for it. I thought it was my eyes.
I thought it was mine too. Wow. For 1.1 acres located at the corner of Pebble Creek and West Clubhouse Drive, and I would just indicate here is North Pebble Creek Parkway, and this would be West Clubhouse Drive. Before you tonight is a request by the City of Goodyear to actually rezone that 1.1 acres from the planned area development to the Public Facilities District for Fire Station number 185. Currently, the property surrounding it, as we stated, this would be part of the approved planned area development, which is for future commercial. Kind of north and west of the actual location is one of Pebble Creek's golf courses. And then, of course, the rest of the surrounding area is a residential area that was approved in the single-family residential portion of that PAD. Currently, the property is governed by the prevailing general commercial development standards. Staff supports the request to rezone to the Public Facilities District, which is appropriate since it accommodates uses provided by government entities for public use. The development standards with the Public Facilities District also provides additional flexibility with regards to orientation of the building on the premises. Before you now is the site plan that is currently under review by city staff. And again, I would just note that this is West Clubhouse Drive. The additional future commercial would be over here, and the adjacent residential units to the south and east there. I would also note that those of you that are familiar with this area, the security gate sits roughly right there. There will be two entrances into the fire station, one located here, another one located here. With this being the primary entrance that trucks will exit and return to the fire station at. There will be no shared access with the future commercial to the northeast there. We had 3 citizen reviews throughout the process of this fire station number 185. The first dealt with the location of the station. The second meeting was more specific to site issues, where it was going to be located, how it was going to function, and the third being the issues related to the rezoning process. There was significant turnout at significant participation in each of the meetings, and it has overwhelming support at this point. I've had no negative comments regarding it. Staff is recommending approval of subject to the stipulations contained in the staff report. That concludes my presentation this evening. I'd be happy to answer any questions. Mr. Mike Ullman with the Goodyear Fire Department is here as well to answer any specific fire-related questions that Commission might have. Thank you.
Are there commission members that have questions of Mr. Williams? Ms. Loretano?
On your map here, and I don't know who wouldn't want a fire station in their neighborhood, but I just have a question. I wasn't quite sure where exactly the gate comes down. Does that mean the trucks also could get to go out both ways? I mean, if there's they don't have to go through the guard gate to get to Public Creek? I was just curious.
Well, Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Loretano, what they're going to do here is, and this isn't the greatest representation of it, but you see this little island here? They're going to shape this thing back. All right, they're going to bring it from this location back to this location so that trucks that are coming in, which would be a southwest direction, can make that turn into this. Then they would then come down here, and that's how they would get back into the back of the building. That way they wouldn't have to go through the guard gate. They wouldn't have to try and make that real tight turn to come into to this entrance located at this point. So the simple answer to that question is no, they won't have to go through.
Okay, that's what I was just wondering, because I didn't know. I know they're big trucks. I didn't know how, from looking at that. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Just one quick question. You said that the orientation of the station was still subject to change. So is that going to impact the ingress, egress to the facility?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Bay, no, sir, it shouldn't affect it at all. The site that you have before you, in the site plan you have there, is fairly set at this point. It provides adequate ingress and egress to the station, and also provides the maximum setback from the residences located in this location right here. To orientate the building in any other way would move it closer to them, and that's certainly something that we don't want to do.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Yes, there are no further questions from commission members. Would you have the representative from Mr. Ellman? Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Mike Allman, Deputy Fire Chief.
Mike, would you give your address for the record, please?
My physical address?
No, just business address would be sufficient.
I work for the Goodyear Fire Department over at 145. I'm not sure of the address. We just moved.
The new building.
The new office park over in Van Buren. Hope there's no tougher questions than that.
It's like asking your own telephone number now. Yeah. Okay. Sir, would you like to comment on the presentation?
We're very excited about building this station. We've been trying to build this station for about 3 years now, and we've got everybody that I can think of. Everybody's all for it. Like Rick has said, we've had 3 public meetings, and everybody's all for it. They can't wait to get us in their neighborhood, and we can't wait to provide service from that station.
Good. Good. Are there commission members that wish to ask questions or comment?
I just make the comment that the public meeting that I attended was very well done, very well presented.
Thank you. We've got a good team.
Yeah, it's very well done.
Just a quick question for staff. Is there developer participation in the construction of this facility, or is this all being funded by capital improvement funds?
This is, I believe this is mostly capital improvement funds. I believe there are some developer funds involved.
Okay.
To what extent, I'm not real sure.
Mr. Goss?
Yeah, there are, excuse me, we're having a sidebar here. The funding is, there's developer contribution. Suncor is contributing, I believe it's about $1 million towards the construction. I believe there's some CFD funding also.
It's not just my tax dollars at work.
If you live in Palm Valley, there would be, or Pebble, yeah, there would be some tax dollars if you live in Pebble Creek or Palm Valley.
Okay, so my tax dollars are at work. I'm okay with that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is there anyone in the public that would like to comment on this? Being no further comments made, I will close the public hearing and ask for commission discussion. Is there a discussion on this? Then, at this particular point, I would call for a motion on case 0720000013, fire station number 185, a rezone.
I make a motion that we approve case 07-200-00013, the fire station number 185.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Miller and seconded by Mr. Louts. Commissioner Louts, all in favor of the action, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Thank you. Next item is a special use permit for Maricopa County Transfer Station, a wireless communication facility. Mr. Tapasola.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
This is not a public hearing. This is not a public hearing. No, special use permits.
This is not a public hearing. Am I clear? Okay.
It is a public meeting.
It is a public, okay.
Oh, it is.
Yes, sir.
I'll open the public hearing. Mr. Tapasola.
All right.
My apologies.
Oh, no problem. Thanks. Mr. Chairman, members of the
It is a
commission.
public hearing.
Actually, what you have before you is a special use permit request from Altel Communications for a wireless communication facility for a site within the Maricopa County Transfer Station, the centerpiece of which will be a 150-foot monopole with antennas located at the 150-foot level of that monopole. So, since we didn't have a chance to visit the site, I'll orient you as to the extent that I can with the site. Again, we're looking at a 33-acre property owned by Maricopa County. It is a transfer station, and the entry of which is just east of Rainbow Valley Road and about half a mile north of the Germain Road alignment. And that entrance is roughly located in this area here. The applicant, Alltel Communications, will be entering into a lease agreement to lease 10,000 square feet of that transfer station facility. Basically in all directions, the general plan designates the land uses there for low-density residential, which is 2 to 4 dwellings to the acre. And to the north, south, and east, the area in all three of those directions are owned by the state. I should mention that the city is currently evaluating land uses for an upcoming general plan amendment request that will be initiated by the city, and that should be coming up towards the end of the year. At this point, just wanted to go ahead and show you a detail of the 10,000 square foot lease area that Alltel will be leasing from the transfer station facility, which, as you can see here in the location map, is located on the southeast, or I should say the southwest corner of the transfer station. They'll also be allowing opportunities for other providers to be co-locating on the monopole, as well as enough room for them to set up an equipment shelter for whatever necessary equipment that might come with such a facility. And directly to the right of that, as you can see here, is obviously an elevation of the 150-foot monopole. I should mention here that one of the stipulations that we have included with this use permit request is that the enclosure in which the equipment will be stored be of a 6-foot block wall rather than what appears here to be an iron fence. And just to provide you some detail about the vicinity here, this is looking east towards the Estrella Mountains from Rainbow Valley Road. As you can see here, the barbed wire fence, and in the distance is of course the Estrella Mountains. As you can see, it's largely vacant, primarily pristine desert, and I think with that I can conclude my comments. Michael Campbell from representing Alltel is here to entertain any questions you might have as well. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Tabassoli, I'll ask if there are any commission members that might have questions before. None appear to be. Mr. Campbell. Thank you, Mr. Tabassoli.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission, good evening. I'm Mike Campbell. I'm a consultant with Alltel Communications. My address is 6880 West Antelope Drive in Peoria. And I don't want to beat up, rehash anything that Mr. Tabassoli's gone over. He's done a nice presentation on it. I'm here to answer any questions, talk about it if you have any concerns or ideas.
No questions.
You're safe.
You're safe, huh? Okay.
Good night.
Good night to come, huh?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. If there are no further questions, is there anyone in the public that would like to comment on the Alltel proposal? Hearing none, I will then close the public hearing, and I guess if there's no comment from commissioners on this, we'll ask for commission action.
Chairman DeBroca, I'd like to make a motion that we approve case 07350-00003, wireless communication facility special use permit at Maricopa Transfer Station with stipulations as provided.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bay. Mr. Bay made the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Loretano seconded the motion. Is there any further discussion by commission? Being none, I call for action by the commission. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed? None opposed. That would carry 5-0. Thank you. Next item is the public hearing for Goodyear Crossing Industrial Park rezone. And I noticed that we also have an adjacent item, Goodyear Crossing Park final PAD overlay. And Mr. Coons is going to make the presentation on this. I guess we can do both at once, and then, but we need to separate them by commission action.
Mr. Chairman, that's correct.
Okay. I will then open the public hearing for case 07-200-00009, Goodyear Industrial Park rezone. Mr. Coons.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. This first application is a request by Duke Realty to rezone 25 acres of land at the southwest corner of Saraville and Elwood Street from the current zoning of agriculture to General Industrial Park I-2. This request will provide the underlying I-2 zoning the same underlying I-2 zoning that exists for the adjacent acreage that will encompass and create the Goodyear Crossing Industrial Park. This companion application, the second application I'll brief you on, and that you will take action on, is also a request by Duke Realty to rezone the entire acreage, this 25 acres, as well as the adjacent 268 acres to a final PAD overlay. The general plan land use map designates the subject property as general industrial. The general industrial land use designation denotes areas where intensive industrial and manufacturing operations will occur. To orient you, this is a subject property in red, the 25 acres that will be rezoned from I to I-2. This is the adjacent acreages owned by Duke Realty and one other entity that I'll speak about briefly. The entire acreage will encompass and will be developed as the Goodyear Crossing Industrial Park. Properties to the north are in the county, scattered large acreage with single-family homes. To the northwest is Saraville Estates. To the east is currently vacant industrial land, but planned for Saraville Crossing Industrial Park, which you saw, I think, last month or the month before. To the south is MC 85, and to the west is undeveloped property that is also planned for future industrial. A preliminary plat for the Goodyear Crossing Industrial Park was reviewed by this commission in February and approved by the council. A final plat for that is in process currently. The final plat, however, depicts this 25 acres, so the subject of rezoning as one lot. This request for the rezoning of the 25 acres, again, is consistent with the city's general plan and is consistent with the companion application by Duke Realty to establish a final PAD overlay on the entire industrial acreage for the Goodyear Crossing Industrial Park. In order to minimize any potential impacts on Saraville Estates residential neighborhood to the northwest, the applications that were presented to you by Duke Realty contain some provision to provide a 100-foot building setback adjacent to Saraville Avenue. Also, Duke Realty will provide, in accordance with the approved development agreement and the plat that you've seen previously, the entire 130-foot dedication for Elwood Street on the Duke Realty property. The citizen review meeting for this rezoning application and the next case, the final PAD, was conducted on June 5th. That meeting was attended by a couple of residents from Saraville Estates, as well as one landowner to the north and two other individuals. The attendees had no objections to either the rezoning or the PAD overlay, and we're pleased to hear that the adjacent streets would be improved. In addition to the rezoning request for the 25 acres that was in the northeast corner of the ownership, Duke Realty and one other owner, which is the owner of the property for the Federated Macy's Warehouse, have submitted this application to provide final PAD zoning overlay on the entire acreage for the development of the Goodyear Crossing Industrial Park. Duke Realty is the applicant for the POD overlay and will be the developer of the industrial park. And for the Commission's reference, our references in the stipulations in regards to owner-developer apply to Duke Realty, not to Macy's Federated, because they are actually one of the owners of one of the lots in the interior of the center, as you know, of the park, as you know. But Duke Realty is making the application. They are the owner-developer of the entire park, and they are the ones responsible under the stipulations for the improvements and the other actions that are stipulated to. The applicant is requesting the final PAD overlay on the I-2 properties to allow prospective users and tenants greater flexibility in the design and development of the industrial lots and parcels through deviations from some of the established development standards within the I-2, while establishing specific development standards to this industrial park and providing design guidelines within the PAD for the project that will unify the architecture, landscaping, signage, and other design elements consistent with the business park environment. Consistent with the requirements of the planned area development overlay, the developer has proposed and has submitted the booklet, the Goodyear Crossing Industrial Park Final PAD, that was submitted with our report. The final PAD overlay contains the development plan, development standards, design guidelines, building architecture guidelines, landscape architecture guidelines, a list of prohibited uses, and the other requirements typically found that we require within the planned area development that will provide the framework for a unified development in a quality business park. Chairman, members of the Commission, we recommend approval of both applications by separate action, subject to the stipulations that we've included in our report. That concludes my presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions. Also, representatives of the applicant are present, too, to answer questions and maybe provide additional information.
Okay. Are there questions of Mr. Coons by Commission members? Okay. Mr. Bay.
Just one question, Bob, if you don't mind. When I kind of went through the design guidelines, it seemed sort of picturesque. And I was wondering if there was any teeth in it that would allow us to ensure that we had appealing structures that would be there for the use for commercial properties there. And some of the structures that I've seen in here seem, and I understand that it is a commercial industry, but we typically ask that we have some architectural, some sort of architectural process added to all four sides of the structures, and it appears as though that may not be the case here. So I guess my question is, has staff reviewed the design guidelines, and if they're comfortable with the structures as provided?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Bay, I'm going to let the applicant respond to that after I indicate. Staff has reviewed them. We are comfortable with them. The combination of the planned area development overlay that's before you, as well as our design guidelines, we are comfortable that quality architectural buildings will be provided within the industrial park.
Because my concern would be that if we approve this, then we give the developer the right to say what the requirements are for those structures. And personally, I wasn't very impressed with the ones that I saw inside of this particular design guideline. So then you're saying that you'll still have a review process beyond this and make recommendations for aesthetic?
Yes. Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Bay, absolutely. Each development on each lot will go through the site plan review process, through city staff, at which time we will look at full building architecture, for all structures, as we do it anywhere, and as we have done actually for Federated already.
Well, good, because I trust staff explicitly, and so if you say you're going to do that, I'm good with this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Coons, is it Ms. Hickman or Mr. Morris wishing to make a presentation at this time?
I think she would, yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission. Vanessa Hickman with Withy Morris, 2525 East Arizona Biltmore Circle. Mr. Coons has actually done a great job going through both applications and the desired results in terms of flexibility with the PAD overlay district and our desire to attract a wide variety of users to this site in Goodyear, which we have already shown is possible through attracting Macy's to locate on the site, which is currently under construction. Stepping back, I am here tonight on behalf of Duke Realty Corporation, as well as Macy's. We do have a representative from Duke here, as well as from Macy's, if you have any specific questions relating to the companies and their proposals. I'm able to answer any questions that you might have, and I simply ask that you recommend approval of our rezoning application and our final PAD overlay district. And, I would like to speak to your question as well while I'm up here. Okay. The 3 elevations that are in your booklet were actually submitted and approved by staff. This process has been, at least a year-long process where we've been working with staff, and we would like to thank staff for their diligent efforts. We've been working in, close conjunction with Harvey Krause, with Karen Craver, and with Bob Coons, and a lot of people at Goodyear, and they've done a great job. And I know at times we've certainly been trying and have been trying to push this thing along, and they've really been willing to work with us. On the building elevations themselves, I believe that they have gone through 3 different iterations, and they were actually approved through the site plan review process. Within your packets, you do have the Federated Fulfillment Center, which was reviewed and approved by staff, as all buildings on the site will be. That is part of the PAD as well as part of the review process within the city of Goodyear. Additionally, the developer is establishing an architectural review committee, and that review committee will also review the building elevations and design standards before they're actually submitted to the city. They are committed to 4-sided architecture. You do just have to remember this is an industrial park, but they are planning on doing a cohesive and comprehensive development with common themes throughout the entire park. So hopefully that addresses your question a little bit more specifically. And this is buildings 1 and 2, and they're actually located in the northwest portion of the site. I believe Duke is ready to pull building permits on both of those buildings, and pursuant to the terms of the development agreement, we'll have those completed within the next 2 years, and are trying to lease space in those buildings as we speak.
I guess the only comment I would have, excuse me if you don't.
Go ahead.
Is that when I look at these 2 design packages, I don't see a lot of similarity in terms of standardization, other than the fact that there are large commercial structures with truck docks in them. So I guess I have a real concern about keeping it consistent and try to keep Goodyear itself with a high-quality product that's attractive to the eye. So that was my concern. It still remains my concern. I realized that the Federated project was expedited, and I would hope that any future construction that goes on there would probably take a little more care in looking at the facility.
And Chairman, members of the Commission, you're exactly correct. This, in terms of expediting, it certainly was an expedited process. I think everybody was looking forward to seeing Federated locate and get out of the ground, as well as buildings 1 and 2, just to start attracting more users to the site. And I think staff has certainly heard you loud and clear in terms of what you're looking for in terms of architectural elements and design on the buildings. And I know that Duke is here as well, and they've heard you. And going forward with the rest of the users on the site, they'll certainly take that into consideration. And we do have to make it through the staff level and their approval. So we hear you on that one.
Oh, thank you. Just don't give them a hard time.
Okay. No, we won't. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
No further questions.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
Do you
it.
wish to have Representative Duke or Federated?
If you have any specific questions, they're happy to answer them. They're here just in case there were any specific questions that the commission might have.
Commission have questions? Okay, I guess,
Okay.
thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much. They're very excited to be here. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, is there anyone in the public that would like to comment on the two applications that are before the commission? Hearing none, I will close the public hearing, and I believe we need to take action on each separately, and I would entertain, is there a discussion at least on case Goodyear Crossing Industrial Park rezone? Any commission discussion? If not, then I would entertain a motion regarding that case 0720000009.
Mr. Commissioner, Mr. Chair, I move that we approve case 0720000009 as set forth with the stipulations.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Laurentano moved the approval.
I'll second it.
Commissioner Miller seconded the motion. There's no further discussion. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried 5-0. And the next case would be related, and it's 0720000008 Goodyear Crossing Industrial Park final PAD overlay. And we had the public hearing. There's no further discussion among commission members. I'd entertain a motion on that case.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we recommend approval of case 072000-00008, the Goodyear Crossing Industrial Park final PAD overlay with the stipulations in the staff report.
I'll second.
And that was motion by Mr. Commissioner Louts and Commissioner Bay, seconded the motion. There's no further discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried 5-0 unanimously. Thank you. And we're at staff communications. Mr. Arbogast.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman, members of the Commission. We distributed a copy of the agenda for tomorrow's Development Advisory Forum in your packet, so if you have any questions, a couple of things that might be of interest is some reorganization we're doing. One thing we did was consolidated all the administrative aspects of permitting under a permit administrator. And so engineering, building, and planning, anything related to permit and plan review would be under the jurisdiction of the permit administrator. And that's one section within community development now. So that's one, basically the people that were in engineering doing separate permits are now in this section doing all permitting. And then that's one reorganization. And then another one is one involving planning and zoning. We're in the process of recruiting another planning manager. Hopefully Bob's not going anywhere. This is somebody to, like Bob or similar to Bob, another position like that. And then we'll have one of the planning managers that will be devoted to what's called long-range planning, that will deal with the general plan, processing amendments to the general plan, special projects, looking a little bit forward, planning about 80. We're because of our growth, about 80% of our work is devoted pretty much to what we call current planning, processing, zoning applications like we're just doing now, and subdivision plats. So it also will relieve some of the supervisory responsibility from Bob. So one planning manager will be devoted to long-range planning, Bob will be devoted to current planning, and then 3 planners will be reporting to the new planning manager and working on long-range planning and special projects. And then Bob will have 5 planners? Yeah, 5 planners that will be reporting to him. So that's some reorganization that we're in the process of doing. You're welcome to come to that meeting. I know it's some of you are working, can't make it, but it's open to the public, and that's a quarterly meeting we have. It's been very well received. And so one thing that's going on.
One question, Harvey, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Are you going to provide an organizational chart that shows the structure at that particular meeting, or can you provide it to us maybe at our next meeting?
Yes, I can provide you a copy at your next meeting. Yes, we have one.
That'd be great.
And we'll provide that. I'll make a note of that.
And one other question. So how's that going to impact how projects are going to be presented here before the commission? If you have both long and short range plans.
Commissioner Bay, well, really, I don't think it'll change anything. We'll still have, there'll be planners that will be doing general plan cases, and then there'll be other planners doing the rezoning and the use permit. You just may see more of some planners than others. Okay. But we'll probably be doing more work sessions with the long-range planning and working on some projects like that. For instance, one project we're gonna kick off in terms of a long-range planning we need to look at. I'll give you an example: is Waterman Wash. This is, as you know, we've created this vision for Bullard Wash in this part of the community, and we're developing it as a flood control project, but also as a recreational amenity with paths and other recreational opportunities for folks, especially those that are adjacent to residential. And as we go further south, and as you know, we've annexed quite a bit of land, there's a large drainage basin, which is Waterman Wash, and it is huge. I mean, in some places, the floodplain is as much as 3,000 feet. So because we have multiple property owners along here, we need to create a vision for what the Waterman Wash needs to look like in the future. So in terms of trails, the width of it, what the low flow channel needs to look like, what the banks need to look like, and so that's a project we're going to be initiating. Things like that. Those are the types of long-range planning. El Rio is another example of long-range planning that we're working on. So just to give you an overview of what's sort of happening. A lot of things happening, of course, with all the growth and development happening here. So I believe that's, let's see, the next, go ahead. Bob has some things.
I was just going to indicate, next regular meeting is on August 15th. As part of that regular meeting, also after regular agenda items, which I think we have 3 or 4 scheduled, maybe briefly, but we're also going to conduct a work session after the regular meeting in August to introduce the 2007 major general plan amendments that have been submitted. So through August, September, October, the Commission is going to be looking at those major general plan amendments. And I think we forwarded you maybe a month or so ago a brief description of those 2 applications, one by Newland Communities for Estrella Region 3, as they call it, the southern portion of Estrella, and the other one is application by the city in concert with the Arizona State Land Department to define land uses on 6-7 groupings of Arizona State land that within the city.
Over 10,000 acres. Yeah.
Over 10,000 acres. So both of the general plan amendments, as you saw last year, generally cover big areas. So we'll start off the Commission's introduction of those with a briefing work session after the next regular meeting.
Just for the record, I won't be attending the next meeting. I'll be in Europe. But if I can get the materials, I don't mind studying while I'm on those long plane rides across the ocean. Yeah, call me. Oh, can I do that?
As long as you pay for it.
That's what I was
I thought the
thinking.
city was going to come.
That was what that ran right through.
That's, thank you.
Any other questions, or that's about it for us, I guess? Any questions? We got out early.
Thank you.
Good session.
There being no further business, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Hey, all right, we are, and Mr. Laus seconded that. We are